The Old Joliet Prison in Stateville have always been in the background growing up, and you drive by them, as a kid, as a teenager, in my adult life, always wondering what's behind those walls.
I've always been attracted to it, always wanted to go inside, never broke in to do so, and getting this opportunity to come in here, it's just mind-blowing.
Since I can remember driving from Lockport toward Joliet, just seeing this castle-looking building, I thought it was always pretty cool. And to think that I'm in here right now, that's awesome.
You travel, to other states or towns or whatever, and you tell people where you're from, and they say, oh, with the prisons? Yeah, with the prisons.
So my name is Quinn Adamowski. I am the Vice President of the Joliet Area Historical Museum, and I co-chair the Prison Preservation Coalition. It's breathtaking the first time you walk through here and actually see the yard, and you don't realize it's a 16-acre site.
It's surreal to be inside, honestly. There's so much history and you could feel it. To be able to have been one of the first people in here after everything happened.
It's like you don't realize how big the place is until you actually walk inside and see the main field, and then just the sheer number of buildings.
I mean, it's one of the most historic structures in the state of Illinois to begin with. You started construction in 1858, and so when you have an iconic structure like this, and Joliet's known for it, it's known for limestone. When you tell people I'm from Joliet, they automatically say, oh, where the prison's at.
We begin with breaking news. Chopper 2 live in Joliet, where the infamous former Joliet Correctional Center caught fire tonight.
There have been multiple fires. They were pretty condensed from 14 through 17. It's unfortunate, but it's what happens when you leave a site abandoned, whether it be a prison or a warehouse, a factory, or whatever. Eventually people are going to make their way in and destroy things.
I personally would love to meet the people who set these fires and figure out why they set the fires. Were they out here in the winter? Was it cold? Were they out here drinking, having a good time? They decided to set a fire. Did they do it just to be reckless? I would love to know, but I think the beauty in all this is, and the big picture is, it happened, but now we can take it and turn it into a positive.
The fire happens in September of 2017, and we're just walking through here in late February, early March, trying to figure out what are we going to do with the site. And at the same time, there's this budding art movement in the city of Joliet. There's all these local artists who are trying to do things that are really cool. Maybe I'll go talk to Sue Regis and see if maybe she wants to get involved in some way.
Quinn contacted me back in February with some blue, he thought it was glass, but it's blue plastic from the chapel, and just kind of walked in my studio, asked what I could do with it, and I said, well, I can't do anything with it because it's not glass, it's plastic. But I have a good friend of mine, Jeff Benedict. If you want a gavel, he can make it, and he can, incorporate this blue plastic. And I had 100% confidence that Jeff would 100% be able to do that, and he did. He rocked it. We had a couple meetings with Quinn, and I think he was blown away by the possibilities that could happen.
And then we formed a visual arts subcommittee, and it just blew up into something that, let's take parts of this prison, repurpose them, and give people another way to identify Joliet through art. And I said, so find some artists that you think would be willing to donate time to make pieces.
I used to rent a studio with Sue Regis. She called me and said, hey, I've got this thing going on. I can't tell you about it, but just come to the meeting.
Getting involved with trying to recover some of the destroyed items from these burned down buildings, I thought was a fun opportunity to do some new artwork and to see about being able to just take stuff that normally people would throw away and try to make something that people would want to keep and look at.
And we had to kind of scavenge through things, so it was really hard to get a creative juice and flow and kind of figure out what you wanted to do, what pieces you wanted to create. Most of the stuff that we did have was either timbers, burnt timbers, books, old records, basically what most people would consider junk.
We had a large group of volunteers from friends and family, people who we know from downtown Joliet and the local businesses that volunteered to come out and help us rummage through the burnt district, clean up some of the burnt district, kind of help clean up some of the other buildings and any of the grounds tasks that needed to be completed as well.
It was intense, you know, and we came in here thinking, okay, we're going to start looking for pieces of artwork, you know, that we could use. And I don't think any of us really could wrap our mind around looking for any pieces because we were just blown away by what was around us.
It was hard for me to even think of something I could use to create art. I had to kind of like take mental notes of what I saw. Yeah, I saw that shelving, I automatically thought it's a piece of canvas.
Pulling the pieces out, really putting their vision in place. You could see their wheels were turning the minute they stepped foot in one of those buildings.
You have people who have these gifts and they're using old, burnt, throwaway items and they're repurposing them to these beautiful pieces of work that promote themselves and promote the story of the site. And I think that's a key part of it.
I'm Angelica, born and raised in Joliet, a multimedia artist. I worked on a few pieces. I have a found object lamp that I created. It's a Venus flytrap, a working lamp. The head of the lamp was a lighting fixture here in this building. I didn't change the color of it. Everything's rust. I just preserved it. I put it together as a Venus flytrap. So John Wayne Gacy, he's on one of the panels that I painted. The panels came from here in this burned building. They're from shelving units, and I painted 3 of them. I played off of the tragic element of the entire place. My art is already macabre. Everything I do is macabre, not cookie cutter. And I feel like that's a very important thing to present with art, that you have to challenge people.
I do acrylics, airbrush. I do graphic media as well, and drawing. For the way I do it, I come up with a rough sketch using the ash as the shadows and the shading. For the coal sketch I did, there's a prisoner sitting on the bed, and he's thinking and having hope of freedom and kind of thinking of some mistakes he made. And there's a shadow of wings in the background, so it also represents freedom.
I work mainly with wood. I've been playing a little bit with resin and the wood lately, the hybrid. I walked through and I picked through what I thought would work for what I needed and just chose plenty of it just in case it didn't. I got very lucky. A lot of it just turned out to be pretty nice pieces. The main piece that I did was a wall-hung chessboard. I got the idea just because it is in the prison and a lot of inmates play chess. It's a great way to pass time and keep your mind sharp. And then I played around a little bit on the lathe, turning some pieces, bowls, vases, which a lot of people seem to like and asked for more of. I have also turned some pens, which have been pretty popular.
I am a mixed media artist. I work with paints and all sorts of found objects, from paper to metals, plastics, pretty much anything I can find that kind of creates a creative spark. I used pieces from inside the prison here, which were, I believe, parts of old tables or some sort of shelving system. And I also used a book that was from the library in here, which is One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. I did 3 pieces that make a statement together, and it's all about the criminal justice system. My piece is definitely something that's meant to ask questions. It has numbers and different objects put onto the shelving units that kind of make you think about the criminal justice system and what prison life is like, and definitely what people who are innocent in prison are going through.
I decided to do painting this time because I don't get to paint as often. The majority of my work is sculpture. I recovered 3 metal shelving units from the fire debris, and I figured it would be a nice surface to paint on, so I decided to do portraits because they were more challenging to do. With the prison, I went with the theme of using mugshots. One of the pieces was a woman with some bandages on her forehead, so it looked like she had gotten into a fight. Just to have an image like that, to let people that view it kind of think, you know, how did she get into that situation? These people are basically, they're arrested in prison, so they're going through a bad time in their life. I kind of try to convey that with the way I painted them.
I did a blown glass clear circle, spear, however you want to say it, and I'm gonna take some ash from the burnt district here and put it in there. And then I'll collaborate with Dave Wheeler, the woodworker on the project, and he will make a stand for it out of obviously wood out here from the burnt district, and then he can cap it off with resin so the top won't be open. I hope that people get it and they see the power that art has to take something negative and turn it into something positive, or how it could help people through hard times of their life.
Art in itself is a form of outlet. It kind of brings you that freedom. And I know a lot of prisoners here use that outlet to escape the walls.
There's some amazing artists here, and I want to be able to take these artists that are working out of their basements or garages and let the community see what these people are creating. Because in my mind, you know, I get paid to be an artist. I'm lucky enough that I'm able to do this full time. But I have this theory that some of the best artists are the ones that sit in their basement modestly and claim that they're not really an artist, that they just do this for fun and play around. And these people are creating this work that blows my mind.
Something creative rose from this structure, which represents a lot of confinement. And I'm looking forward to it, see where else it takes us.
Art, not for the sake of art, but art for the sake of the community. And I think that this particular project brings those things together.
It's great to be a part of something for the rest of its existence now. Like, I'm always going to be a part of it.
It's even going to be something that's going to be ongoing, and I think it's going to be a fun project to be involved in.
I look forward to more things to come, and that something gets done with the art and that a story gets told, and that people are actually interested in that story, not just interested in the Blues Brothers aspect, but what this prison means to Joliet.
It's just bringing everything to light, and people are starting to take more interest in, where I think they should have, because it is a historical building. It's a big part of history of this town.
If that's your identity, in my mind, it's wise to not walk away from that, but rather preserve it and promote it and get people to buy into it.
I like the idea of this project for numerous reasons, but one of them is to just like accept it, like shake its hand and accept it, and then go with it, turn it into something better, because we're Prison City.